Shalom, family. It is good to see everyone here. Family, we have to say something to each other today. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, family. Happy New Year, my Hebrew family. Yes, we are at another year. Our year begins. And now we got Passover coming up in April. So we got a lot to look forward to. Happy New Year, family. Happy New Year. Okay. So I'm not going to do music today. I do want to share my screen because there's something I want to show you. This will be out this week. The Chebe and Rosewater hair growth spray will be out this week. I've only been waiting 14 days for my labels. I used to get my labels in 3 to 5 days. Now it can take up to 14 days for me to get it. So, oh, I guess patience is a virtue. We'll just wait. But this should be coming out at the end of the week. So, it smells good. What I did was I infused the chebe powder in rose water, and then I added some peppermint, eucalyptus, and rice water is added to it. So it smells really good. At least I think so. And I think that, this will give you another hair growth option, and you'll have that rosy, minty kind of scent, which is really nice. Very soothing kind of scent. So let's talk about Donald Trump and Elon. I just don't understand how these two think they were going to get away with firing such a massive amount of people, and there was no price to pay. I knew this was wrong. Many of us knew all these firings were wrong, but they didn't care. So a judge ordered them to hire these people back. Donald Trump and his administration have announced that they are in the process of reinstating 24,000 federal workers. So they moved to reinstate this based on a judge's order. So these are people that shouldn't have been fired, especially from Elon, who is technically not anything in the federal government because he's never been sworn in or anything. So technically, how does he have the right to fire people? So the Trump administration has taken steps to reinstate thousands of probationary workers who were fired in its effort to downsize the federal government, according to court filings in one of two cases where the terminations were deemed unlawful. And yes, they had thousands of lawsuits against them. A lot of those employees that were fired filed lawsuits. So, U.S. District Judge James Bredar appointed a former president. He was an appointee of President Obama, this judge. That's what they're saying. Last week, he ordered the mass reinstatement of fired probationary workers in 18 federal agencies after determining the government's claim its termination stemmed from performance issues isn't true. And the only reason why they did that, y'all, is really rotten, a rotten reason why they did. They did because if you get fired and it's a performance issue, you'll have a hard time collecting unemployment. And that was the purpose of that letter, saying they had bad performance. But The good part is many of these employees kept their yearly review, and their yearly reviews were contrary to what these letters were saying. So, in them, officials at the agency said that most reinstated workers were placed on paid administrative leave, though some have been, some returned to full employment. So, some have already returned. They warned the change could cause chaos for fully reinstated employees, in particular, who must be onboarded and trained again, but could lose their positions once more if the appellate ruling reverses the judge's decision. And see, that's the thing I would have the biggest problem with. I think right now, if I'm just putting myself in their shoes, if I was a federal employee and I got fired and then I got reinstated, it would always be in the back of my mind. It's only going to be a matter of time before they fire me again. And I don't know if that would sit well with me. I don't know. How can I go to a job and perform on that job knowing that somewhere down the line I'm going to get terminated again? Because we're talking about Donald Trump and Elon. All right. We are talking about Donald Trump and Elon, and they are going to find another way to let these people go once again. I don't think I could go back, but I understand if people have nowhere else to go, they don't have another job and they need that paycheck to get by. I'm not knocking you. You got to do what you have to do. Hopefully if you do go back, keep looking for other work. That really is your best bet. Okay, so all right, so whether required by operation, they're saying the court or administrative order reinstatement of removed employees to full duty status could impose burdens on DOE and could cause significant confusion and turmoil for the terminated employees. Yeah, well, you're playing with their emotion, you're playing with their livelihoods. I don't blame them for being angry, not one bit. And they're talking about the Department of Energy. They had in one, they have filed declarations, and the Trump administration has quickly sought to reshape the federal government, including firing thousands of employees in their probationary period, which typically extend a year or two. So the judge's rulings followed a similar order by a federal judge based in San Francisco to reinstate those terminated at 6 agencies after he determined the firings were illegal just hours prior. Those 6 agencies were encompassed by the judge ruling too. So Trump don't have a choice, y'all. At least right now, he don't have a choice. He's got to take all of those people back, whether he like it or not. See, it don't pay to think that you are above the law. And for some reason, Donald Trump and Elon, because they're wealthy men, they seem to think they are above the law, and they're not. People need to pay their rent. They need to buy food. They got children to take care of. They don't have time to be fooling around with this mess they got going on. It's not funny. But one thing I am glad about, Elon is getting it back. Oh, people are sticking it to him. His stocks are almost nothing. They're like in free fall for real. And I don't see anybody saying that this global boycott against Tesla is over, which means people are going to continue on with it until, and I think the goal is until Tesla is gone. And let's be real, it's not the first car company to go under. Mm-mm. I know y'all remember the Yugo, right? Yugo. That one didn't last long at all. I think that sucker just lasted a few years and that went under. The Yugo. And I remember the DeLorean, that didn't last long. So Tesla, I mean, really, what reason would you need to buy a Tesla if you really wanted an electric car? There's electric cars way cheaper than a Tesla, and they have better ratings than a Tesla. There's quite a few of them out there that have much better ratings than Teslas. I guess if you, hey, I guess it's your wallet, your money, right? But, for those that left your jobs going back, I'm glad at least you have some kind of money coming in for yourself. I certainly understand if you need to go back, you do what you got to do, you know? And it's just a shame that you can't work in peace without some demon behind the scenes trying to undermine you. No, Strawberry 32, I agree with you. It really shouldn't be on the street. That one that Donald Trump was sitting in front of the White House with Elon, it said that thing had 37 recalls. But we know what this is about. Elon is a Caucasian wealthy man, so they're willing to overlook things when they should not be overlooking anything. But yeah, how can one car have 37 recalls? That is like outrageous. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had cars that had recalls, but most of the time it was minor things. It was never anything really serious. Now, one car I had, they had to change all of the seat belts. It was some seatbelt issue, and they did. I just took it up to the dealership. They took my old seat belts out and put all brand new seat belts in. And then there were a few other minor things, and it really was nothing serious. But I tell you what, I don't feel any sympathy for Donald Trump or Elon. And look, think about it, y'all. They got to now watch all of these people they got rid of come right back up there and work right in their face. So at the end of the day, what did they really accomplish here? Except for causing misery for some people because they did not know how they were going to make it. But that's the worst part. I wish I could say they're not going to do it again. They most certainly are. They most certainly are. And I think what the most repulsive thing I felt about the whole thing was just how gleeful Elon Musk was. It was just nauseating. You're hurting all these people, putting them out of work, and you're sitting there all gleeful, and told Donald Trump let them feel some pain. Yeah, well, I hope you're feeling a lot of pain over the global boycott of Tesla. Back at you, bitch. Let's hope you're feeling a lot of pain. Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Donald Trump is not going to do anything to benefit people out here. Whatever he does is going to benefit the wealthy. It's not going to benefit anybody else. And to me, they look stupid. You done ran around here for the last several weeks, running people out of their jobs, and now you got to give those jobs back. You look stupid. You look really stupid. Yeah, he sure was. He gonna still be crying because those stocks are still going down. And they said he might make the Guinness World Book records for the fastest uh, financial loss of all time from all the money he's lost on Tesla. hmm Well, they said he did the same thing when he took over X. If you go and pull up the stories, when he took over X, he fired a couple of thousand of people that work for X. He ran them folks off as soon as he took over Twitter. He ran a lot of people off. And they already hacked X. It was down for a few hours about a week ago. He said there were hackers from Ukraine. And the stocks, I was listening to one of his recent interviews. He's trying to blame his financial losses on the Democrats. I said, I think it's everybody. I think it's a mixture of everyone that is boycotting Tesla. I don't think it's a Democrat thing, but that's what he tried to make it sound like on this interview, like his financial losses was due to Democrats um, sabotaging him. And I was like, mm-mm. I said, even the people on the right are part of the boycott too. It's not just people on the left. So I don't know what he was talking about, but I guess he had to make it look a certain way, like it's only the people on the left that don't want him to be successful. And that's absolutely not true. hmm Yeah. Yeah. They sure do blame other people for what they do, or whatever fails, they try to blame other people for it. Yeah, that's very true. Mhm. Yeah. Well, this got to be embarrassing, at least for both of them, because remember, Elon was taking his little Doge team from one department to the next, running people off. He going in there like he's some mob boss or something, and running those folks off, and didn't even, and it was just rotten the way he would do it. They said he would show up, announce that everybody was getting laid off, and they had 30 minutes to vacate the building. What kind of garbage is that? 30 minutes? But that's the kind of stuff he was doing. Yeah, they say he don't even half see his children. I heard that about Elon Musk is a baby daddy. That's all he is. He's a baby daddy. They said the woman that had his 14th child said he came, and every time he comes to see the child, he only stayed like a half hour, and then he would get up and leave. And I think he only came about 3 times, and he stayed only 30 minutes all 3 times, and then he left. But if you look at the history, because I think there are 4 women, 4 or 5 women that he got all of his children with. And if you go and look at his history with all those women, he do white women like dirt. He do these white women like dirt. He really does. hmm But I said, well, that's on them. They keep laying around having babies with him. Maybe they think they're going to get a lot out of him. He ain't coughing up no child support like that. Hmm. But yeah, they said Elon don't even spend time with he got them 14 children, and he don't hardly spend any time with them children at all. Hmm. Yeah. Well, Don Lemon, he's got a channel on YouTube. He posted that entire interview he did with Elon Musk. If you go out, he just started posting it, I think, like a day ago. And he had like several parts to the interview. And Don Lemon did that mess on purpose. When you go back and rewatch the interview he did with Elon, he did that. He poked that bear on purpose. He did. Do you know Elon Musk allowed Don Lemon to write his own contract with X? Remember, he was supposed to do a show on X. He allowed Don Lemon to write his own contract. So he got to pay Don Lemon whether he likes it or not. He wrote that in a way that if he got let go, Elon would still have to pay him. Now, who does that? He let Don Lemon write his own contract. Oh man, when I found that out, I was like, "Oh, Elon, you are screwed. You gonna be paying Don Lemon. You gonna pay him too? Oh, write my own contract? Yeah, yeah. You gonna owe me several $1,000,000 if you terminate me. Oh man, I would have all kinds." But yeah, he allowed Don Lemon. If you go on his channel, he's talking about it. The Don Lemon that's online, I like this Don Lemon. Okay, the one that was on CNN, I did not like him, but he did say he was not really free to be himself, and now he is himself. And you can see it's a difference day and night from when he was on CNN and where he is now. But yeah, Elon Musk allowed Don Lemon to write his own contract with X, and his ass signed it. Elon. That's why Don, if you notice, when he, if you notice, Don Lemon wasn't even upset because he knew what was in that contract that he wrote himself. Woo! Elon, if you're that stupid, I'll write my own contract and have you sign it. Hmm. But that's what he did. That's what he did. Hmm. No, no, it definitely don't in either Donald Trump and Elon's case. No. Money don't mean you have brains. No, absolutely not. Well, if you remember, Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon, they were terminated around the same time. And right after, I think either the next day or a few days later, Elon approached both of them to come on X and do shows. And Tucker Carlson is over there now, but Don Lemon really didn't have no chance of going over there because after he interviewed Elon Musk and all the stuff about the drugs came up in that interview, Elon canceled the contract. But Don Lemon had that contract written in a way he gets paid if that contract gets canceled. So that's why he was not even concerned that he canceled the contract because he knew he had millions coming to him because Elon signed the damn thing. Hmm. But yeah, you know what? When I woke up this morning, I was looking at a video and somebody was talking about Elon is a genius. Yeah, genius, my butt. This man ain't hardly no genius. Hmm. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you for being here and Happy New Year, family. Happy New Year. Because I got to leave and make my next round to the post office so I can get your orders out. So I'm going to do that now. And by the way, I want to make one more announcement. The gray hair reversal is over on Shopify. If you go over there, you can get the 8 ounce, you can get the 4 ounce. It's over there. They had to help me fix a problem that was going on with it, but it's all fixed. So you may not be able to get it on Etsy, but you can get it over on Shopify. And I did put the link over in the community tab. So if you want the link, just go over to the community tab and you will see it. It'll take you right to it and you can order. Okay, y'all. Okay. Y'all have a wonderful day. Enjoy our new year. All praises to the Most High for getting us to another year. And we will have a blessed year. The Gentiles will have a terrible year, but we will have a blessed year, family. Shalom.